What do you think? Or do you? I wasn't thinking too much of anything when I got this knife. All I heard is Rex 76, and I thought this might be interesting. Rex 76, Paramilitary 2. The Paramilitary 2, is this like the basic knife that if you're becoming an enthusiast that you would want one of these? I mean, this would be kind of in your kit of, some of the first knives you might own and carry if you're getting into a little bit more enthusiast knife areas, you know what I'm saying, rather than maybe just a $30 this or that. And Spyderco, they just do so much, so many different steels. This is really interesting, this brick pattern. Is that what they're calling it? I can't remember. Yeah, the brick dark gray G10 exclusive military satin. Now, they did come out a couple. I got this from GP Knives. And tweren't cheap. I think it's still available on there. They came out with the coated blades. And you know what? I missed that whole thing. I missed the whole thing. So when they came out with this, but you know what? I prefer this non-coated, and you know what? I shouldn't be like that. I should have preferred the coated because Southern Florida and a lot of humidity, and this is not going to do it any favors. So I'm going to have to be very careful with my coatings and different things. Oh, this is like this kind of stuff. I'm going to try this out. This Wolf Ultimate Knife Care is supposed to with Cobra Tech. Check this out and see if you think this is any good. I'm still using it and gonna, long-term kind of see how this all turns out. But then I bought some super cheapo bottles, on Amazon. You can get like 12 of these for $8 and these little needle tips because I wanted some applicator that was a little bit more delicate than this, right? So I got these so I could use this on the inner part of the knife or the pivot or parts that I can't get to easily. So that's what I'm doing there. Otherwise, I've got some other spray stuff that's different brands that preserves your steel, keeps it from corroding. But this is worth getting, I think, in my mind, just because it's a Rex 76. And it's interesting stuff. Let's see what they say about this because, well, here's the stuff I got from GP Knives when I bought this thing, just in case you were a little interested in this. And I don't need the damn candy part in this necessarily, but okay. Thank you very much, boys. It's a good day to buy a knife. Yes, it is. And so there's that. And I guess that's the total of that. And then here's the Spyderco piece that comes along with this. And high carbon, high performance blade components that are not rust resistant. Don't get a lot of, garbage on it because it's not going to do well with that. And so you got to take care of it. And I think, I don't know if Michael Janich still writes these, but he used to, and I can't remember if he did the inner of these, because there was an education or whatever it was. And this, what are we talking about here? Design S110V, they're talking about blah, blah, blah. And so here it goes into this. This is, the history of the Paramilitary 2, which is awesome. I like the Paramilitary 2. I've got good old my Maximet one, which unfortunately when I first moved here, I left it sitting out in my lanai for like 4 or 5 days, and then I realized the humidity not doing good, so I scraped off what I could. I still don't have it on the buffer wheel where I could. But this one I've sharpened this up. It stays sharp for a long time. And you know what? Do I have bumps on here? Oh, shit. Did I get this tested? I kept thinking this was like a 72 or something. And I know I got this one tested. This is my M390. And where is my test bumps? Here and here. And it's dirty, of course, because I use it all the damn time. And, of course, every time I put it on camera, it's dirty again. But you know what? This holds, oh, yeah, it's still really sharp. This holds an edge really well. And you know what? It has really good corrosion resistance, too. I've never had to treat the blade or anything, but I've had this one. Oh, my God. I've had this one for a long time. Who's the one that gets the exclusive on blue scales? Bento box. And so that's where I know I paid all the money on this one. So those two are worker bees. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to get me this, and I think I'm just going to use it not outside so much, but around in the house, opening things and this and that. Yeah, this is, I mean, this Rex, this will be interesting to see how this edge holds up on here. And you know what? There's information on the Rex that I went in and I got off of here, and they're talking about the Rex 45, all right? And what were they talking about? Well, here, you can pause and read this if you want, because maybe it's just a little too much to mess with right here. But they're talking about with, 69 to 70 Rockwells on this 76. And so, that could be, and I wonder, is this just a copy of that? Hold on. Yeah, this is, and this is some stuff about Maximet as well. If you want to pause and read that, that's really nice. And that, I can't remember if I ever tested my Maximet, but damn, that holds an edge a long time. So I was just thinking this Rex 76 might be way cool to have. And here is on the GP site what they're saying about Rex 76 as well. Super high speed particle metallurgy steel. Oh my God. But I mean, talk about edge retention. It should be very, very good for that. Okay. So I just thought I'm going to get it. I'm going to put it to the test. I like this brick pattern. Isn't that nice? That's a factory deal where normally you get in this, right? You get this kind of just, and where's my bento box one? Yeah, same stuff, right? These two, and I was reading something and they were talking about, here's your standard stuff. This is what you get on the PM2, right? But this, it's nice that they changed it up. I know you can go aftermarket and you can get all kinds of stuff, and you can get different standoffs, and you can get the CME, which is compression made easy to put over here. My buddy Sean loves the CME. I'm not really necessarily a big fan of that. I don't care. I think what they should do is an inverted, take this on the other side. And I think that Blades We Love did this. If you look at his website, I don't know if he still shows them, but basically he put a button through here and it was a left-handed Spyderco, right? And so the liner was over on this side, and so basically it was just like an inverted liner lock with a button that was sunk through here. So you just had a button, but it was like a button lock like Vosti does on some of their knives where they are an inverted liner lock, which is really smart. So that way you don't have this part of your scale cut away. I'm not a big fan of this, okay? This doesn't need to be like that. It could be a regular scale. You could invert, or you could take this liner, put it on the other side, and then just put a button through here that pushes, like what the CME does when you put a CME on here. All it is just a plug that you put here so you can push it easier without going all the way in to disengage it. Okay, so that's enough of that. I'm just saying. So really, I mean, this is fine. This is fine. I've used them. And then the military did this compression lock as well. But I think Sean was telling me the other day that on one of their native or something coming out is going to be one where there's going to be a button. And so I'm going, maybe that's going to be the inverted liner lock that I've been talking about and seeing on the Vosteed stuff. I don't know. But of course, this is a good lockup system because, you know, your piece is wedged between this stop and the back of the blade. And so you've got it, you know, pretty hard locked down here. Not like a standard liner lock, which is only comes up and locks behind the blade. But it doesn't get wedged between two areas like this does. So this compression gets pushed in both into this area between those two surfaces. So it's pretty tough there. I like Spyderco. I like a lot of their stuff. I got their Man X2 lightweight in yellow. You've probably seen it on some of my Instagram postings because it's the Salt series and it's Maxima. And you know what? That's holding a pretty damn good edge too. And I really like it because it's so lightweight. So I don't know. And then I've got my LCN 200 in my Salt series. I got my Salt. And that one sits out in my lanai all the time. All the time. It never comes in the house. And I've never put a treatment or anything on any part of the knife. Okay? Not a spot of corrosion on it. Nothing. Okay? It is held up beautifully. And actually, the edge is holding pretty good the second time that I've sharpened it. Well, no, the original edge, then I sharpened it once. And that edge that I sharpened onto it has actually been holding pretty damn well. So I'm pretty happy with that because I don't expect a lot of edge retention out of LC200N. I don't know about you, but I don't. But you know what? I think it's pleasantly surprising to me how well it is doing so far. Now, where are we with toughness? I don't know. You know, impact resistance. Because, you know, you take this up to 70, you think you're going to have a little problem with being brittle. And this is what happens, right? You see right here? You see those little, yeah, you see that stuff on the edge right there? Yeah, baby, that's called it when the wife gets a box in, doesn't tell you, bars your knife, goes in there, rattles through the metal staples or was twisting, doing something, and there it is. Because that was not like that when I got done sharpening it. But, you know, the rest of the edge is fine. Oh, it's sharp. So I'm going to leave it alone. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to leave it until it gets butter knife. And that may take years, okay, of rotational use before I'm going to take enough off here to settle this score here. But, okay, so it is what it is, and it's definitely a user. But, man, can't be, I mean, just the PM2 is just tough to beat. It really is. It's tough to beat. I don't know that I'm that big a fan of this piece here. I've had knives before where I've had a guy grind it out to, you know, just a choil here and do that post delete, this post here, just delete. And I kind of like it deleted, but it is what it is. And I talked to Janich at Spyderco about that too. He goes, hey, you want to delete it? Delete it. Do it yourself. You know, so, you know, I understand. You can step up here and you got jimping, so you got a little bit of this and that, but I'm not a big fan of this post. But on the other hand, I am a big fan of the PM2. And I just got to figure out when the Military 2 is going to give me some good options on the handle and the steel. Because I haven't seen any, and maybe I just have missed it. But I want to get something. Maybe I'd like a Magna Cut, like a lightweight. And I was talking to Spyderco people about that. I think Janich as well. And he was going, you know, when you start getting to the full-size military, then, and that lightweight GFN or FRN, you got to start worrying about how the integrity of this whole thing is. I think that's what he was trying to explain to me. So G10, that's pretty roughy-tufty. That FRN, maybe a little bit more brittle and not as, stable for, a little rougher encounters. So maybe as it gets bigger, you don't want to do that. So I don't know if they're going to solve that issue. If they're going to have a military lightweight, it would be nice. But here we are. And the Paramilitary 2 is just great ergos on this. It really is. It feels so good. And I like this jimping here. And then the Spidey hole, and you can Spidey flick it, and the compression lock just made it everything it needs to be. And then they always come tipped down. So the first thing I do is I get out my number 6 and make it tip up. Other than that, but it's nice that you can go up, down on both sides, which they didn't have on the military, but they have on the military 2. So all they did to the military 2 was took a lock back knife, or was it a liner lock? But then they made it a compression lock, and they made it tip up, down, left, and right. And they won an award for, for innovation, I think, wasn't it? Like 2 years ago on that. It's like, seriously? They just did to it what they did to the PM2 a long time ago. Okay, well, whatever. But I like the military as well. It's just I got to find one that comes from the factory. I like a factory-issued scale and everything. These are kind of a bitch to pull off. Have you noticed that? And I think that you can get a tool to help exhume the handle off of this back spacer here. But it is kind of a pain in the ass. I've done it before and I don't like it. So I'd just as soon stay with the factory scales. And them doing this is great. I really enjoy it. It's great. I love it. Spyderco. I'm making a mess here on the table now, but these are the 3 I do have now. I used to have a S110, I think, in the PM2. And God, I can't remember what else I've had in the PM2 in the past. But these are what I got now. They're worker bees, and this middle one I didn't get for glory. I just got it to join the workforce. Yeah, call me crazy, but Spyderco, I'm still a big fan of Spyderco. I've been a fan of Spyderco since, I don't know, late 80s, early 90s? So, whew, that's a long time, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to let you go, but this Rex 76 is really an interesting steel. And I used to have a Rex 45, didn't I? I thought I'd never let it go, and I did. Although I do have the Manix 2 XL in the M4 and the Jade, remember, like Blade HQ put out as an exclusive. I've got that one still. That's great. And you know what? The Native Chief is still a big favorite of mine as well. And I think I have that one in carbon fiber. But I think that's pretty much the extent of my Spideys right now. All right. Take care, my friends. Stay sharp.